Hey everyone, Brandon from Brandon's Baseball Cards here. Tonight I just wanted to talk about something that I'm still riled up about with our hobby. I got the latest issue of Sports Collectors Digest in the mail today, and they have an expose on the 1919 Black Sox scandal. And this, I understand the timing of this, given that it's been 100 years since this event in baseball. But I just find it very ironic that they're still putting out exposés about something that happened a long time ago that isn't necessarily, while it's important, it's an important historical event, it's not necessarily something that is very timely, right? I think it would be much more important, once again, if we actually had some coverage of the trimming scandal in the hobby publishing, right? We need to have reporting on this. This is very, very important. And the reason I think it's so important, why I think it's so important, we need to talk about the PWCC and PSA and Gary Moser and all of the other trimmers and what has transpired is because anyone who looks on eBay, right? If you undoubtedly, if you search on eBay a lot, like I tend to do, looking for cards, you see a lot of PWCC cards up for auction, and a lot of these cards go for a lot of money because PWCC is a big auction house with a big following, right? A lot of people, it's apparent, a lot of people just don't, they're either ignorant of the scandal or they don't care. Now, the people that don't care, there's nothing we could do to change their minds, right? If you're not bothered by this scandal for whatever reason, I think that's short-sighted of you to not be bothered by the scandal. But if you're not, fine, that's your right. But if a lot of their customers are still bidding on their auctions, it's complete ignorance that that this happened, that they were knowingly selling altered cards, or allegedly were knowingly selling altered cards, I should say, then this company is still flourishing in some respects, is still thriving when it shouldn't be, right? This is a company that needs to go away. And not just because of the trimming, but the rampant shill bidding. That's a whole other topic I don't want to get into too much, but this is a company that needs to be not just legally held accountable. I think the public needs to speak. The hobby as a whole needs to speak. And so the only way that for some people to learn about this, because a lot of people, they're not watching these YouTube videos, right? A lot, especially maybe some of older generations, right? If you're a seasoned veteran of the hobby, but you're not on YouTube and you don't go on blowout card forums, you may not have heard about this at all. And so instead of these types of exposés on something that happened 100 years ago, right? And I don't even know how many people still subscribe to this magazine, but I do. But these outlets have an important role to play, right? Vintage Card Curator in a comment on one of my previous videos pointed out that Beckett Vintage magazine, while they had a brief article about how to detect if a card has been trimmed, they haven't discussed this scandal at all either, right? And whether it's because they're upset about, or they're afraid of upsetting advertisers, or whether PSA's authority shall remain unquestioned for whatever reason as the premier card grading company, whatever the issue is, it's really. I think it's going to be up to us to continue to talk about this until there is a judgment in court, and until we actually have some legal punishment, hopefully, for some of the individuals involved in this scheme. It's up to us to spread awareness, and this is a point that Those Back Pages has pointed out on his channel. That it's our job to share our knowledge, to talk about what we know, because a lot of people still don't know, right? And given the fact that the hobby establishment it seems like they're going to continue to ignore this issue and just hope it goes away, it's really up to us to share our knowledge with others. And so when we meet someone that in the hobby, this is an important topic to engage with them about. And I initially was hesitant to do another video about this because I don't want to be overly negative about our hobby because it's such a great hobby. But I find myself going back to this issue because it is very important. It's a defining moment for our hobby. And because people are still bidding on these auctions, and we cannot reward fraud. We cannot say that it's okay that this company committed such widespread fraud. It is not okay. It's not okay, and it has no place in our hobby. There's always going to be greedy people, but there's no place for fraud in our hobby. And I have sent another email. I sent an email this time to the content editor, Paul Kennedy, of Sports Collectors Digest. I sent him an email and reiterated. In a previous video, I talked about how I contacted the former editor of Sports Collectors Digest and about the trimming scandal and how I felt it needed to be reported on, and I did not receive any response, not even an acknowledgement of the email. I contacted the content editor of Sports Collectors Digest earlier this week, and he actually responded and said he appreciated the email, and he forwarded my email to the lead editor of Sports Collectors Digest, David Stredge, I think is how you pronounce his name. And I'll keep you guys posted if I receive an email back, but I'm trying to create a dialogue here and get some of these hobby publishing venues to at least report on this, because people that do subscribe to this magazine maybe this will help spread awareness. If some people just aren't on the internet, or they're not on YouTube, or they haven't gone to Blowout Card Forums, seeing it in here in a venue like this or in Beckett Vintage Collector will help spread awareness. And this magazine, it says on the front, every issue, voice for the hobby, right there. I don't know if you can see that, voice for the hobby. If you're a voice for the hobby, then you need to speak to issues that the hobby is concerned about, and this is a very important issue in the hobby. And with that, I will end my rant. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. This channel has, in a matter of a few months, has really grown quicker than I expected, and I really appreciate the support, and it really means a lot to me. And we'll have some mail coming in soon, so I'll do a mail video. So with that, I'll let you guys go and keep collecting vintage baseball.